Disagree with much of what Bob said. You have to bear in mind that a lot of the UKIP policies are about cutting income tax in England by scrapping the Barnett formula, so Northern Ireland gets less money, by pulling out of Europe, where Northern Ireland actually does better out of Europe than it puts in as a region within the UK. So we've got to be careful that policies geared to the south of England don't have an adverse impact in Northern Ireland. And whilst the sentiment that Bob rightly expresses in terms of the impact of welfare reform is perfectly right, I'm not sure that the UKIP policies are actually the right solutions. If I'm elected to Westminster, I'll be, well, I've read it, but we can discuss it again in detail. If I'm elected to Westminster, I'll be opposing welfare reform in the sense that I will wish to see the bedroom tax scrapped, which automatically saves Northern Ireland £20 million a year, because that's the cost of Northern Ireland having a bespoke system that's different from England and Wales, and a number of the other provisions. The difficulty with this whole issue is Northern Ireland can't afford to have a different system, in part, only to a certain extent, which is what's called the mitigation measures, which my party was involved in working on and negotiating, and we put further amendments down to it, but sadly they weren't taken. But we can't afford a radically different system. What we actually have to do is go to Westminster and argue for the English system not to be reformed in the way that it's being reformed, because that puts financial pressure, further financial pressure onto Northern Ireland. And that's why this election is so important, because in Scotland and Wales, with the Scottish Nationalist Government and Labour in Wales, they made about 10% savings across a 4-year period through reduction in public servants and civil servants and so on. In Northern Ireland, not one job was reduced. And because of that, what happened last June and July is all of a sudden the finance minister realised that he was in a bit of trouble. It felt like he had spent all the money by Thursday and had nothing left for the weekend. And that's why what's happened and been announced since June, July last year has been so stark in Northern Ireland, because you're getting 4 years rolled into basically 18 months. And that's why we have the problems we have. And that's why this election's so important, because we need to ensure that English spend on education and health, which are the largest areas of spend, is maintained at a high level. And we need to ensure that on aspects of welfare reform that we can defeat, that we do that, where there's a difference between the mitigation measures we put in place and the system in England. And by doing that, it releases more money in Northern Ireland to go round in terms of other aspects of support. We'll all have seen things, maybe not experienced all of it yet, but there's been announcement after announcement of things that are going to be reduced over the next period of time. And the only way to deal with that is to have a more relaxed spending profile in the first couple of years of the next Westminster government, to allow Stormont the time and space to sort itself out because of the 4 years of, and Jonathan will no doubt disagree, but financial mismanagement that has taken place. Because some people would tell you that everything's rosy at Stormont. Some people would tell you that it's doing a really good job for you. But a lot of people who are on the other end of the discussion will tell you they're doing nothing for me, things are getting tighter, and actually, what are they doing there? And that's the experience of people. If that's what's happening, the politicians aren't doing their job right, and that's why they've got to be challenged on it. And I can say that a little bit because obviously I don't hold an elected position at the moment, but it doesn't mean that I wouldn't have that view if I did, because I'm prepared to challenge people when I don't think they're doing a good job, irrespective of whether I'm in the same position as them or not.